Hi everyone. I haven't talked to you in a while, so I thought I should make a little update and have a little chat about how Eden's getting on and what the plans are for this new year. So I'll just start by talking a little bit about PCOS and what's been happening and how I'm doing with it. I'm not taking any form of contraception at the moment, but I've not really been having regular periods anyway. It's only recently, over the last 2 months, that I've gotten a period. So I had one about 6-7 weeks ago, and I've just had one this past week. So they were kind of like about 5 weeks apart, which is, funnily enough, is how I used to be back when I had normal periods, which was in my teens. It was every 5 weeks. So the only reason I can think that I've had to, I would put down to the fact that I'm taking thyroxine, which is for an underactive thyroid, which again, I'm sure there's a link with that to PCOS. But it just seems funny that since going back onto medication for my thyroid, within a couple of months I had a period. It could just be coincidence, but I think that has something to do with it, because I'm not taking metformin. I'm not taking anything apart from the thyroxine, so I kind of think that might have something to do with it. The only downside of that is the really heavy. The last one lasted for two whole weeks, which is just terrible. And then this last one has been a week, but I'm still kind of, it's not over yet. And it's been really painful and really heavy. But I think that's partly also because I didn't have one at all for 9-10 months after having the baby. So yeah. As for metformin, I'm still not back on it. But that might change this year. I think I'm going to stay off it for a few more months anyway, just to see if I continue to have regular periods. And then I think towards the end of the year we might start thinking about another baby. Probably around the time that Eden turns 2, which is in November. Because you just don't know how long it's going to take. So I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to start doing any charting or anything like that. I'm just gonna leave things until the end of the year, and then take it from there, really. Yeah, so that's that anyway. As for the baby, she's doing great. She's the last few weeks she's really started to come out of herself and express her emotions much more. She gets really overexcited and starts screaming and getting really carried away, which is really lovely. She still isn't walking yet. She stands up and walks along the furniture, but she's lazy. So if I try and take a hands-on walk with her, she'll just plonk herself down on her bottom. It's really funny. So I think she could do it if she'd try, but she doesn't want to try. So we keep trying to to get her to walk a little bit. It's really funny. What else is she doing? She's definitely got really strong likes for food now. I mean, there's nothing that she dislikes. She still eats everything we put in front of her. She's got a good appetite. But she definitely loves oranges, especially if you cut them in quarters and give a piece to her. She thinks it's the most amazing thing. But the downside of that is because she loves it so much, when she's eating it, if you try and take the skin off her, she just goes crazy and starts screaming, which she did in a restaurant the other day, and it was like child abuse. It was terrible. She was just screaming. I'm sure everybody thought I must have done something to her. But that's good that she's got, you know, things that she really strongly likes. So she definitely loves oranges and tangerines and melon and cheese and noodles and fish. She eats all kinds. It's really good. So she's also come on really well in nursery as well. I don't know if I mentioned last time, but for those first couple of months when she started, it was really difficult. She would just cry and I felt awful, and I'm thankful that it was my husband taking her, because I think if it was me leaving her there and seeing her so upset, I don't think I could have done it. I'd have probably not gone back to work and stayed at home with her. But I'm glad we persevered with it, because she's developed bonds now with some of the staff. She doesn't really cry anymore when she goes in, which is fantastic. And she seems to have a good time while she's there, and she gets lots of nice food, which she loves. And it's really helped her. I think it's helped her development, and I think it's also helped her mixing with other people and other children, because when she was younger, she wouldn't be held by anyone else, or if we go into a room and there were strangers, she'd start crying, and she was really clingy. And she still is clingy, but she will mix and she will crawl away and do her own thing, and she seems much happier as well, which is great. So that's definitely doing us some good. So some of the things that she loves as well, that she enjoys, she really enjoys drawing, which I'm not surprised really, because when I was little, I just used to love art, and I used to draw, and I love nature and all things like that. So I'm really glad that she's so young, but it seems like she's already really getting into drawing. We took her to my husband's family to visit over Christmas, and I took some crayons and paper, and Eden just stood at the table for about an hour, just drawing, just doodling away on a piece of paper. And I thought that was fantastic, and everyone said, oh, she's going to be an artist, which was really funny. But I was just so impressed that, you know, she was 13 months old, and she had the concentration to stand there for so long and draw, which is really good. And she's really good at it as well. She knows how to hold the crayon correctly, and if she's holding it the wrong way, she knows how to turn it round, and she knows not to draw on the floor. She always draws on the paper, so she's really good with things like that. Things like playing with little puzzles and things that make music. She loves things like that. And I think it's hard to say because she's so young, but she seems like she'll be more kind of academic than sporty, which is probably like me and my husband really. I think we were both academic but not really sporty. So I think Eden would rather sit and play with something or draw than actually get up, and she does explore, but she'd much rather sit and play than try and walk, or, you know, that kind of thing really. So it's going to be interesting to see if she stays like that, or if she's going to change. I mean, she probably will change, but it just seems interesting to see the way she is. So, excuse me, I'm very tired. As for sleeping, if Eden would sleep through the night, then she would be the perfect baby. But I don't think any baby's perfect, so she isn't. Through the day, she's great. Most of the time, she'll go down for a nap really well. And her naps are changing now because she's getting a little bit older. She's always gone through phases of she'd have 2 naps a day, and then now she's pretty much on 1 nap a day. And it varies really depending on how she slept at night. But most of the time, around about lunchtime, maybe afternoon, she'll have a nap, and it can be from an hour to 2 hours. She's got a habit of wanting a nap late in the afternoon, which can be a bit of a nightmare if, come bedtime, she wants to stay up. She's always been quite difficult with her naps, and we've tried to have a routine, but she's got her own routine going on, so what can you do? But for nighttime sleeping, it's still pretty bad, really. She's been co-sleeping with me for the last couple of months, and that's partly because she was at nursery and I was back at work, and I needed to sleep because I was going to work, and also because she's had constant illnesses since starting nursery. You know what kids are like, and they pick up every cold and every bug and everything that's going around. So she's had a lot of illnesses, and obviously we wanted to keep an eye on her through the night when she's been poorly, and she's wanted to be with her mum, which, if she's poorly, you can't blame her really. So she's got in the habit of sleeping with me, which has its good and bad points, more bad points than good really. She'll usually go down at about 7:30, sometimes a little later. She'll have a last bottle, and then she'll go to sleep. She'll be on our bed, and then she can sleep for a good 2 hours, and it might get to around 11 or 12, and that's when the pattern starts and she starts waking up, and I have no idea why she keeps waking up like this. I don't know if she thinks she's having a nap, and then she's waking herself up from this sleep, but then it's just constant, pretty much all night. She'll just awaken, go to sleep, awaken, go to sleep. She could wake up for 2 hours and then go back to sleep, and that's the most difficult thing about having her. The last couple of nights, I think she's teething because she's been waking up, and it's like she wants to go back to sleep but she can't, and she'll cry or scream because she's frustrated, and I don't know what's going on really, and I can try and soothe her and help her or give her a feed, and she can't go back to sleep. And I'm just a bit worried because her dad's a bit of an insomniac. He's a really bad sleeper as well, and I just hope I'm not going to have this for the next 12 years or so. So she's waking up constantly, fidgeting a lot, which I think is normal for a baby anyway, but it just means that I really struggle. You can see how tired I am from lack of sleep for months. It's just awful.